that?
No, that's Austin.
Okay.
Yeah,
He was really nice.
Isaac's
came up
the
to me and
snap
said
down he
hello
did
and
on
stuff.
Andy?
Yeah, it was good.
Dude,
Then he
yeah.
kind of gave up.
Yeah,
but
Dude, he the other day when he snapped me down, he rolled me like I was rolling on the ground.
Dude, it was beautiful
It was
against
so
Andy.
bad.
But then he's quit.
Yeah, he quit, and then Andy. Andy don't quit. So.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
He
one
learned
thing
a
Andy-
valuable lesson.
Andy will persevere. for
Yeah,
sure.
you gotta kill him.
Yeah. But Isaac sent me a video. It's like it was a video of a guy doing what's it called, go-go plata. He's like, how easy is that to do? And I said, not.
That's with the foot in the face and you grab.
It's an omoplata, and then you put your shin underneath the
Front of
chin. And you
grab
hold,
the toe.
That's illegal, right? Like
When it's weird.
It's
I
not
don't
illegal.
even. Well,
I
it
think
is
it's
at
a
some
windpipe
tournaments.
choke.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's a what?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Because it's a what?
Windpipe choke.
Mm.
There's a huge.
Shock.
Now we're gonna ask for my expert on my channel.
Oh, we're recording?
We're recording.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But
Sorry for outing you, Isaac.
but no, it. So yeah, you got the omoplata, the go-go plata, the loco plata.
Mhm.
Basically, the loco plata is just taking your foot and putting it on your heel to add more force.
Yeah.
But some tournaments they're illegal.
Really?
100%.
I know
for the
Fuji
longest
is for
time
sure.
we taught that was illegal.
One of the most exciting submissions ever was Nick Diaz
Hitting
versus
that go-go
Takagori
plata.
Gomi, and he hits the go-go plata on him. It was
Now I would like
Crazy.
to know
How
now.
is it dangerous?
Well, because your shin is going into there.
Yeah, it's a windpipe. It would be the same as like a
You're
rape
just
choke.
basically.
People say that, but cross collar chokes do that all the
I
time.
agree.
Sure, and so do
Yeah.
80% of the
Same-
time.
same thing with
Rear
Darcy.
naked
That's
choke
what-
too.
that
right
was
on
my,
your
that's my
windpipe.
rationale. Is not like that. It's just like, well, what's the
Yeah,
difference
the
between
darts.
that and a?
Now it might be
Yeah.
legal today, but 10 years ago we
Yeah.
trained it that it was illegal, and I haven't heard anything change. So I honestly don't know.
I know for sure it's still illegal in Fuji. For sure. I mean, hell, they don't even let kids do omoplatas.
Right.
So
but
why
for
would
adults, is it?
I would assume like maybe expert.
Yeah, but let's
no-gi.
be honest. At Fuji, I don't think those refs even know what the fuck's going on. I think
Dude.
they'd let it slide.
Well, you weren't there at that Terre Haute ref when that one kid got choked unconscious and pissed himself and
Yeah,
the dad ran out.
Exactly.
Well,
like,
that's sad.
fuck yeah.
You gotta get your shit together. That ref was just like clueless. I mean.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, welcome to the Hay Show. Hey, this honesty
is gonna
thing,
be.
I
This
don't
is
know
gonna
where
be-
it's gonna take me.
You know
It's
what's
just
gonna be
taking me
great
somewhere.
is that we're gonna have
to a good beating about behind an alley, most likely.
in a couple weeks we have a
That might
segment
happen,
that
but
is
you
just
know,
gonna really highlight
can't-
what we just did right there. That's
Yeah.
really awesome. Okay. All right, so welcome to the
Hey!
show. This is the fan show for MMA and grappling. We are definitely not a show for experts. Well, we are for somebody who gets choked unconscious at a Fuji
I
tournament.
do want to say though that's not Fuji's fault.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
There we go.
That's
Nice.
fault.
Way to.
It's the refs.
Disclaimer.
It's the ref's
It's the
fault.
ref's
Those are
fault.
independent contractors.
That's how you get away with it.
All right.
Now
so
I'm gonna
let's-
have to make this a snip, and now it's definitely gonna be seen.
Yeah.
Let's have a really nice tribute and a really horrible transition to two people who passed away recently. The first one is Orlando Sanchez, which we actually, a couple of us have had some dealings with him.
Should we say a memory? Would that be good or no?
Or you could just let me get through my
Okay.
shit. Either one. It doesn't matter. It's up to you.
Is
Whichever
that
one.
another TikTok? All right. go on.
And the other passing is actually, it happened today during the taping, is Victoria Lee, who is Angela Lee's sister. And she was a one competitor. She was, sadly enough, 18 years old. And,
Yeah.
3-0.
Yep.
3-0, phenom.
3
And,
submissions, I think.
yeah, extremely talented MMA grappler.
Yeah.
And no cause of death yet, anything like that. So no one's going to speculate on it, but let's just talk about...
I like it. No one's gonna say.
Yeah, no one is going to speculate on it or talk about. Yeah. So, anyways, but if you guys want to share some Orlando things, and then me and Ronnie are probably hit more on Lee because we watched a lot of one.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories of Orlando, and I didn't stay in the gym the time that you guys went down. I came down. My
You stayed
first
in the house that one time with us.
No, I didn't. I was.
You stayed in the
Oh
house
yeah,
the
yeah.
one time we did for the Worlds.
Yeah, that's right. When it was just the Fields and Derek and us.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I was down there for that one, but I didn't like that time you guys went down, like slept on the mats. I wasn't there for that one, but I remember him because Derek knew him, and Derek snuck up on him, and because Orlando was laying in the benches because we were up at Long Beach laying down, and Derek snuck up on him and goes, "Hey, Orlando," and he goes, "What the? You Dexter-looking motherfucker!" And I was like, "Oh God, this guy's hilarious. This is amazing."
That's where the Dexter.
Yeah,
name came from, was
that's
it?
why we
Orlando
started calling.
gave Derek Dexter.
Yeah, he's like, you
Wow.
look like a serial killer, you Dexter-looking motherfucker.
We're gonna have to revive that one then.
I
Keep
like
going.
it.
Oh, for sure.
That's-
like every tournament that we went to, he called Dexter when he saw him. He called Derek Dexter.
Yeah,
That's fun.
I mean, that was a cool moment.
I love that. That will and beyond that. He also, I remember, he taught. He showed that armbar from the how he did the armbar from the turtle, like when you step up and they
I
grab
do remember that.
Yeah, I teach that
I
so
still do
often.
that sometimes.
Yes.
I forgot that. I remember when he did that,
Yeah.
and he dropped his hips down,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, that's Connor's bread and butter. I remember when,
I know,
when he was
Connor
a
goes
kid,
for it all the time.
he steps up and he just he'll even wiggle his toes to make you want to grab his foot, and then he just drops on it. Man, he was good at that. That was cool.
I don't know, my moment, I had a couple different moments with Orlando. I really did think that was a cool period when we would go to California, and I don't know how many times we stayed at his gym. You know, the fact that he opened his gym to just some random people like us. But I thought that was cool, just getting air mattresses and showing up and
I'll
just
tell you what,
sleeping
it was
on the
cool
mats.
once for sure.
I mean, I don't know how many times I did it. 4 or
I
5
don't know how many
times.
I'd like to keep doing it, but
I did it once with Mandy. She stayed at Orlando's gym.
was
and I
that when
could-
she competed at Pans?
Yeah, but I remember we got, because I would normally get a single air mattress because you just throw them away afterwards. They're $7 or whatever. But I remember we got a queen mattress and we stayed on the mats, and I really was shocked that she actually went through with that. And that was a good trip. But I remember he took us to Show Your Old headquarters,
Mm-hmm.
and we hung out there with him, and then he took us to RVCA. I took you guys the
Yeah.
second time, I think,
Yeah.
because the first time he took us, and just the connections that he had and the energy that he had, I mean, it was pretty wild. I kind of wish I would have, in the last year, spent one more time
Yeah.
with him, because he had ranches and academies all over the place, and
Yeah.
I mean it was pretty wild.
Yeah, he was a
how
pretty cool dude.
spread out he was. But so that's anything for you, Brandon.
I mean, I pretty much share all the same memories with him that you have. I don't think I've ever
can't
seen
remember
him
which
without
trip
that.
I do remember that we were hanging out behind
That
his
was the
gym
first
and
time I
talking
ever
when he-
did Pans, I think. Wasn't that in California?
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
going to his house and opening his garage and there being 5,000 showy geese in there, just piled up. So,
It's kind of how your office is starting to become.
not that. I mean, I got 9. It was holy, there's $30,000 in showy geese here. So,
Well, rich people, that's just junk.
yeah,
Just junk in
kind
the
of. That's
garage.
all. Isn't just garbage bags, just sitting in the garage, never opened.
So,
Man, I need to go
uh,
rob this. Oh.
So Victoria Lee also passed away. This December 26th. Ronnie, what do you think about just the legacy of that family and what they're doing in one and all of that?
Yeah, that's it. It's gonna be very tough for that family because that is. I mean, they are. I mean, and Chad will appreciate this. They are the Fast and the Furious of one because they're so family oriented. It's very legacy and bringing their name carries so much weight over there, and they take so much pride in my brother or my sister or my son, my whoever. They're doing this, and they are the first ones to immediately when is it Christian?
Yeah, Christian.
Yeah, when Christian won, he immediately said, he's like, hey, thanks, I'm glad I'm out here fighting, but that guy right there points at his brother, he's going to be the next one, So,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, Angela was doing the same thing, it's I won here, but that girl right there coming up, she's going to be the next thing, and it's pretty heartbreaking, and that family's going to have it rough for a bit, so I just hope they get through it, and hope hope everything works out for them, but man, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, the thing I'd like to say about it 100%
Scoot
is
back a little bit.
last time we were talking about Sun Yoon and role models and stuff like that. I definitely think, her and Angela, those were the type of role models
Mhm.
that Sun Yoon looks up to. They're going into the cage, not wearing the sports bra. They're, in a grappling shirt because they know that, hey, I'm a grappler, I need that friction, stuff like that. I respect Michelle Watterson a lot for that. She, everyone knows her nickname, the Karate Hottie, but she comes in there in a grappling shirt because, she's going out there to win.
Mhm.
So that's the people that send you respect. So it's really sad that one person that, young girls could look up to is gone.
Yeah.
So 100%.
Especially so young, it's just always pretty tragic when
Well, that's what
someone
I
that's
told Mandy last night. I
rising
said
up.
the sad
that
part
young
is
guys.
her and Waylon are born the same year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
that's-
man,
No,
that hits
shit.
hard then,
You
right?
know,
That
I
makes
mean-
it hit a little harder.
Yeah, when you really start thinking about it, it's like now that I have a daughter and I think about those things, it's like,
That's scary.
I mean, there's so many variables, sadly, in the world. I was telling this someone at the gym the other day, like the amount of things that could kill you every day of your life.
Mhm.
I mean, falling, tripping, choking, all the things every day. So like it's scary that people die young,
Yeah.
and especially when she had shit together so
Mhm.
well. I mean,
That's why some people just need to realize the most valuable thing you have in your life is your time.
Mhm.
That's it. There's nothing more valuable than your time. It's not money. It's not anything else. The most valuable currency you have for yourself is your time. You
Ah,
can't
yeah.
ever get it back. You can lose all your money and build it all back.
That's why I'm trying to wake up in the morning. It
Can't
sucks.
get your time back.
Wow, man, that's
So,
that's crazy. That's my total belief too.
Yeah.
Time is the most valuable.
it
asset.
is,
Yeah.
and you got to spend it however makes you happy.
Yep.
So then the
You'll
movie
never get it back.
Timeless with Justin Timberlake's like your that's your thing.
That's my
That
thing.
is a
Okay.
good movie.
Never seen it.
Really?
No.
It is a neat concept. Like I liked the movie actually.
If you replace Justin Timberlake with a qualified actor, then that would been a great
I thought
movie.
he did good.
Of course.
You put Tom Hardy in that thing, it's a great.
Well,
movie.
If
of course
they
it's
remake it,
better.
If they remake that movie with a Tom Hardy, that would be great.
It's just like you ever seen the sci-fi movie Looper
Mm-hmm.
with
I feel like I've heard of it.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Mhm.
doing his best impression of Bruce Willis as a young person. It's just it makes me laugh every time. I'll watch that movie anytime it's on because I'm just like it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Have you seen the
doing
new
it.
Avatar?
We have already went down this road.
I just.
I will guess 1 out of you 3 have watched it.
I saw it.
I have not.
I have not.
Jesus, I was right on the money.
Yeah,
Jesus
pretty
Christ.
well right on the money.
Give me your review. How great of a plot was it, or was it Ferngully? Which one? Go.
Well, I
the
don't
first
know.
one was Ferngully.
It's probably this one probably was
So-
too. 'cause
I don't know
I've heard-
Ferngully.
They're trying to find super unobtainium this time.
So, I mean, realistically, the humans are coming back, but now they just want to wipe out the indigenous people because they're
There we
mad at
go.
them. So, like, they built a city there now, and
Oh,
now they're
you know what the new one's gonna be about?
the new.
Yeah, the new Avatar, the next one.
the same
Instead
shit.
of it being a water world, it's gonna be a fire world.
Oh,
It's going to be a hollow Earth instead.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Inside the Na'vi have created another society.
Exactly.
And then
An
inside that
underground world.
It's like a
those
tunnel
mo-
world,
Those
cave
movies
world.
are
Cave.
garbage.
Hey,
Or
hey.
garbage.
I don't
I
know.
will
The
not
first one
watch
was
it.
good enough.
I mean,
I
I'm
don't
not
know that
gonna
it
say
needed
it
a
was the
sequel,
greatest plot,
but-
but it was entertaining.
The first one was okay. Not great. It's okay.
So back to death.
All right, so
on top of like the two people we
It's
talked
sad that
about,
death is more entertaining than Avatar.
yeah,
it is.
there's all. I mean, with Stephen Bonner passed away,
Yeah,
Phil
that was-
Oh,
Davis.
I'm so sorry. You mentioned that. And I
Yeah.
apologize. I
That-
completely
that's-
passed over.
I mean,
My fault.
Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin single-handedly, those two single-handedly made the UFC what it is. If those two did not fight,
They
on that-
definitely boosted it.
there's no
insane.
way they'd been as high as they were.
Not as fast,
It's not
for
as
sure.
fast. They may, they would be not nearly as high as they are right now.
Yeah,
So that's a sad pass.
It is, and this is my one negative comment. It's gonna be about it, not about him, of course, but
I'm sorry, hold on. I said Phil Davis. It's not Phil Davis that passed away.
No, you said Stephen Bonner.
I know, but there's another one, and I
Oh.
said Phil Davis, but it wasn't Phil Davis. It's Johnson.
Oh.
Oh, Anthony Johnson.
Anthony Johnson.
Yeah, Anthony
Okay,
Johnson.
yeah, I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna get called out on that
I
shit.
know.
Good thing you fixed
Yeah.
it now.
I know, because they've been
Uh,
like, that racist motherfucker.
but
Black people look like them.
the thing that I was like, and I know people don't like him, but Ariel Hawani
Mhm.
mentioned was, I think Stephen Bonner was kind of like on the outs with UFC too,
Well, he absolutely was.
and like
His whole house burned down, and no one even.
and like I was sitting
Shit there
there
to help
and
him.
I was really thinking about it, And Ariel Helwani goes, look at the list of the 30 legends they're bringing back for their 30th anniversary. And he goes, it's all the company men.
Yeah.
Which we love Forrest.
Yeah.
We're not talking any crap about
Right.
that or anything like that. But I'm just like, man, if there's a time to get like, with him dying and then him being on the outs and all that, like to get those guys unions and like so they can get retirement and stuff. I mean, that's just
It's a shame,
insane
'cause-
that those legends that built that sport now they get nothing.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But yeah, we're definitely not talking about Dana White today. So, but we are talking about a UFC event, UFC Fight Pass Invitational.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Is that the
either.
slap
I
thing?
think I was at
No.
work.
No.
I'm just kidding.
That's
so,
oh,
and I'll go over the card real
You got
quick.
me.
So they had a.
That's the
They
one.
had
No, never mind. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. So they had a tournament. Patrick, Gaudio, Hasim Merida, Mason Fowler, Pat Shangali, Luke Griffith, Andy Vera, Oliver
I did see something
Taza,
on this.
and Richie Martinez. They did a little tournament, and then they also had Beatrice. That's the name. That was the name we lost from the last taping. And fought Misha Tate and Gordon Ryan and Nicky Rod.
Is Richie Martinez? Is that the smallest one?
No, bigger one.
Okay.
Yep, bigger one. Gio's the smaller one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nicky Rod fought who?
Gordon.
Yeah.
So this was from a little.
Has it happened yet?
Yeah. And it
Yeah,
went
this
to
was this was a
overtime.
little.
Oh yeah,
further
yeah.
back.
He did better, way
So,
better.
I want to.
Gordon won, but he
Yeah, I want to explain the reason why we're talking about this because there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
This is the last big
Yeah.
grappling card, honestly.
Yeah.
So first round, Patrick beat Rita by a triangle choke. That's probably what we've been seeing, right? Like, didn't he just lose to?
He lost Luke Griffin
Yep.
with the heel hook.
Yeah,
Didn't
that
was
was-
Mason Fowler on that card?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He had a good win. I think that helped
Yeah.
boost his career a little bit.
He beat the 10th Planet person who was the 16-year-old who is going to beat Gordon Ryan.
Oh, and then Gordon Ryan had this like, well, I guess that's not gonna happen, huh?
Yeah, he armbarred him in the most gentle, kind way I've ever seen a person armbar somebody.
Yeah.
He armbarred him like you armbar someone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he didn't get it. And that's the kid that's, ripping heels left and right. And
Oh,
whatever.
okay, yeah.
So he won armbar. Luke Griffith won rear naked choke. Oliver Taza beat Richie Martinez. If there was something, which one of these is not like the other, we all know which one of those is not like the other. Mason Fowler won by triangle choke against Patrick. And then Griffith, rear naked choke, Taza. And then Fowler won by the worst rule set, EBI rule set, fastest escape.
Did
So-
Misha Tate lose?
Yeah.
Yes,
To
she
beat
won.
Mosquito.
We don't talk about that because Kaylin watches the show. So, yeah.
No, I don't think I'm okay with that because Misha is she has not ever been like really known. She's known for her wrestling,
Yeah,
not for her grappling, and
Yeah.
it's
That's how she won the belt, though.
Right, but it's like expertise
put her
versus, a collided of all of it.
There's also a
like,
big difference between MMA jiu-jitsu and pure jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
which I
100%.
think Rose Namajunas' recent match really highlighted that for me because she's a pretty good grappler.
Yeah.
She's great in the cage, but she went out there against a real jiu-jitsu competitor. She lost in a minute.
Well, it's
So-
just like that same thing. Like, okay, just because they're an MMA fighter, because Tommy and I were talking about this the other day, doesn't mean their technique's great.
right.
Dude,
No.
you just have to put them down.
Mhm.
Like, you have to put them down. Like, because we were talking about Dan Hornbuckle,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, I'd really like to kind of train with him. It's been a long time. I just would like to know where I was. I think my technique is 1,000 times better than his now, but he's still a big dude,
Mhm.
and he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Tough
to,
as
to,
nails.
to beat him, you're still going to have to go to places that are really rough.
Yeah.
Even if his technique is just as basic as possible, he is tough as shit.
Yeah, you got to drag them in. You got to drown them. You got to drag them in the deep water and drown them. You can't just like drown.
Yeah, they're not just going to tap because you get a
Yeah.
decent, choke or an
Mhm.
armbar. They're going to freaking fight it to the death.
Yeah.
100%. And I do like watching those MMA grappling showcases. I think they're interesting.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
The worst one I saw was one time. I think Rumble took a grappling one, and that was that one was it was almost rough,
Mhm.
just because it was just a different level of grappling. But who was the one guy that the Philly Fresh guy?
Oh yeah.
He went against Gordon Ryan.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
We saw there's levels to all that. Even though he could have easily won if he. I think he like wrote that one
The
time.
sad part about Gordon Ryan's career in the last 5 or 10 matches that we watched
Mhm.
is if he wanted to win in a minute, he could have done it on all the
Yeah.
matches.
Well,
Andre
that
Gavallo, all these different people that he carried.
we actually wanted to. Actually, that's where I wanted to end with was
Okay.
he went with
Nicky Rod.
Nicky Rod, and Nicky Rod broke something.
Yeah,
on
he
the
broke
toe-
his ankle.
Yeah, on the toe hold.
Broke Gordon
Gordon's
Ryan's?
ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
it popped on the video too. You can hear it, and if you can hear it on the video, you know it was loud in real
Yeah,
life.
he
Huh.
broke something.
I didn't know that.
He
Yeah.
broke something. So
He admitted it, I think, in a video.
yeah, are we seeing Nicky Rod start to be able to get that pathway to maybe competing?
I mean, he's had how many shots now against Gordon?
How many
3?
watermelons did he have to crush to get good at that?
That was Chad's fake laugh. That was Chad's fake laugh.
Was that his third time going against Gordon though and losing? Nicky Rod?
I don't know.
It's
I
at
mean,
least his
On a
second.
big stage? Yeah,
It's
probably.
at least his second, but maybe his
It's
third.
for sure.
So,
At
I mean,
least second.
you'd think he's starting to figure out some patterns at least, but
But here's the problem that's sad is
he also has Nicky Rod or Gordon's little brother coaching him all the time.
Yeah.
Nicky Rod only has a one-dimensional game.
Yeah,
100%.
pretty much.
He doesn't have a guard.
I've never seen him.
He
play
doesn't
guard.
have it's wrestling, it's pressure passing.
body lock.
And
So-
it sounds like he's starting to pick up. I mean, that's a.
But here's the thing, Gordon's going to change it.
Sure.
Gordon's just going to say, "Look, instead I'm just not going to
Yeah.
play guard with you."
Gordon also just
I mean-
completely railed him about greasing too, which who knows if that's true or not.
I remember a long time ago. I don't know. This was at the Worlds, Purple Belt Worlds, when I was a Purple Belt in San Francisco, and I could be 100% wrong on this, but I think one of the Meow brothers was facing AJ, or maybe I just watched AJ throw a tantrum because he didn't get a decision like he does.
Man, how do you keep those straight?
So, but the only thing I'm saying is I don't really think that the Meow brother fought AJ. I just think AJ fought and threw a fit before and lost, and then the Meow brother fought someone, but the guy greased himself heavily, and the Meow brother was like freaking out, right? And then I was like, what is going on? I was just this purple belt watching this take place, and they DQ'd the guy for greasing.
Well,
like
The most famous one in MMA is Polaris.
Paul Harris,
Paul Harris.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Samar?
they said strictly he greased his legs big time.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they said like that he was getting
heard
out
that
of like,
too.
shots and stuff like that, and he was which never made sense to me because he was a leg locker, but I guess he thought that he was just superior on legs, but yeah, I guess it's a thing. I mean, people do it, but I don't know. I mean, he did break something.
I see where there could be an advantage, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When
Well,
someone's
for
sweaty,
sure.
whew.
Yeah, Nicky, he broke something, we think, and then Gordon won by EBI rules. He
Yeah.
won by fastest.
He actually
escape.
tapped too.
Yeah.
But it was because time was
Who
over.
tapped?
Gordon tapped. But he tapped because time was over and he was looking at the ref like, it's over, right? Tell him to let go. And then he just tapped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He didn't act because
Yeah.
that
said
was
that.
that little clip went around
Yeah.
everywhere. I was like, oh my, and because I remember I seen that. It's like, what, he made him tap, and then I started looking and it's like research is like, oh, it was after time.
Because
Okay,
Gordon
gotcha.
said that it wasn't even under his throat or on his neck or anything. It was across his face, and it was
Yeah.
pushing his teeth through his lip, he said.
Yeah.
And I even saw in the interview afterwards, his lip was fucking huge. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it was painful.
Yeah, I don't in any way think he's gonna rise to be him soon or something
might.
like that. But
And
are we seeing a pathway? Like,
would you want that? Would you like to see Nicky Rod beat Gordon or not?
It's
I kind of don't want to see him.
Yeah.
I kind of
Only
don't
because
either.
I really think Nicky Rod's
don't know
a
why.
one-dimensional fighter right now. I'm not saying that might not change,
Sure,
but
yeah.
to me now I've seen multiple. In the beginning, I only thought Gordon Ryan was a one-dimensional pull guard, leg locks. But now we've seen him wrestle. Now we've seen him play top. Now
Passing,
it's like
too. His
now
passing's
he
incredible.
is the king, and it's like, man, you almost don't want to see the king fall down, but then But if you do, you want to see it like the
Someone
Bodini.
worthy.
The
Yeah,
Bodini
right,
guy
exactly.
would be a cool.
Or Marigali.
Yeah.
Or
I
So-
do because I want to know if B Team and them will actually become a thing or it's a rivalry.
I'll tell
Right.
you what, if Craig beat him, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, Craig,
Oh,
I could accept
no,
that.
who would not want Craig to beat him? I mean, Craig.
Everyone wants Craig to win.
Yeah, everyone wants Craig to beat him. I mean, everyone knows Craig.
He
probably-
almost did too. He
Yeah,
armbarred him in EBI.
Probably could beat him if he was just bigger, built bigger, and stuff like that. I mean, even Gordon's admitted that.
But like even Craig and Ryan Gordon have both said, Craig's game is not one dimensional. I guess maybe it's 2-dimensional. He has more tools clearly than Nicky Rod.
Yeah.
But again, I don't remember what match it was, but Gordon was like, he should have never pulled guard with that guy. And then I think it was
Probably Kanan.
No, it wasn't. It was before this. It was maybe the Pedro. He fought
Yeah.
Pedro. And
Oh,
Pedro ended
yeah,
up
yeah,
beating
yeah.
him by playing top.
Yeah.
And he said he should have not done that. And
Was that in
that's
the finals?
well, I think it
That
was
was
a
a
super fight.
fighter
It was
who's
a-
number
Oh,
one.
okay.
Pedro ended up getting the decision over Craig because Craig pulled guard. And I just remember Gordon saying he shouldn't have pulled guard on Pedro.
No.
Like that was where he lost because Pedro's guard passing is just is better in this area. And it's crazy that that's how technical the sport gets, to those small little details
Yep.
that
His mindset though, like, is that sub only mindset. Craig Jones's mindset.
Right.
Like when he wins decisions, you see him and he just is like, who cares? I won a
Yeah.
decision. Like, I don't know. To me, like, it's either he's gonna win or he's not. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't really care. Like, and I mean, he seems to be a pretty healthy minded, individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he seems the most healthy out of all of them mentally. you know what I mean?
100%.
So I just think that's interesting.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, let's get on to Marigali and Kanan. Those guys, they don't like each other.
Really?
Well, I don't know many people that like Kanan.
Well, they
Really?
they have a lot of.
I honestly don't know much
I
about
mean,
him.
clearly the people in the Kanan circle like Kanan.
Yeah.
And clearly the people not in Kanan's circle that understand that he has for sure abused steroids and he sure has done what he's done.
Hasn't in
I
jiu-jitsu?
agree, but unfortunately when you get called and you get caught,
Crazy.
it makes it different.
Yeah.
Like it's like the difference between speculating it and knowing it's a fact. It's like, okay, we speculate that Gordon Ryan's clearly on steroids, but he hasn't failed a drug test yet. And he has done IBJJFs where they drug test you on the podium. So he has, Kanan unfortunately
But
lost
those
all of
are
his.
just tests of your intelligence. They're not really tests of whether you're on drugs or not.
Correct, but your following determines what gets published and how you're perceived.
But that test for IBJJF is an intelligence test. It has nothing to do with whether you're on drugs or not. It's whether you're smart enough to not do them prior to being tested.
Right, correct. It's
So-
knowing your steroid and when to
That's
do your
a-
cycles.
Very, very good way to put that. Very,
100%.
very
That's
good
like
way
the
to put
NBA
that.
weed test. They said that's an intelligence test.
Yeah. The NFL was the same way.
They
I
get
remember Pat
tested.
McAfee talking about it.
They
But
get-
there still is a huge difference between you've been caught, you haven't
For
been
sure,
caught.
you're right.
Like
You're
and
right.
that makes how you perceive someone completely different.
But everybody knows that jiu-jitsu is just riddled with
Correct.
drug abuse.
Yeah.
Probably the most of any sport. Any
I don't-
combat sport for sure.
I think Kanan's incredible at jiu-jitsu. I don't really know the guy.
I'll be honest. When I saw him go against Marigali, was it Craig Jones in ADCC
Craig
in the
Jones.
finals? Yeah, that cemented it to me that someone that's as good as Craig Jones can go against him, and he just toys with him until he has so many penalties he's losing. Then he's like, oh, I'll just pass again. Now I've got enough points. I'll just stall
pissed
until I have
Michael
enough
off
penalties.
so bad.
I look at that so different. I
Yeah.
look at him as he's a really good person at playing rules.
I kind of looked at it the same way Brandon does. I know that it made you mad and annoyed, and I get for the
It annoyed me
for
too because I
for the
wanted
hype
Craig
of
to
the
win.
sport. I get that it's stupid.
But you can just tell that he's confident that he's good enough to do that, or he wouldn't have done it.
Who's the MMA fighter that gets a lot of shit for that? Is it Volkanovski that he's a point
They,
fighter?
they
No,
give
Volk-
give
I don't think-
Volkanovski a point. They call him a
I
point
don't know.
fighter. I know they.
I
I know
would
he's
never
not.
define him as that.
So
I agree.
That's my exact point. When I watch him, I don't think he's a point. I think he's smart and he plays the rules.
He goes for the finish.
Yeah. Is he? Probably a little bit more of like that's
I agree.
actual point fighting.
I think early Izzy was less, but the
Yeah.
longer he went on.
I look at Kanan as Izzy, and I look at You know, like there's also smart people that can be like Volkanovski.
Is he still doing like exciting things? I think, but Kanan, he literally sat there till he had enough penalties that he was losing. I think there's a difference there. Like that was.
I don't.
It was terrible to watch.
In terms of like growing the sport or being excellent, if you're happy with that, yeah, go for it, man. Like
You're not going to get paid like Gordon Ryan, but
no, I mean, and good
but
good
at
for
the end
you.
of it, you are still scary good.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the
not
day,
saying
he's
that.
got a gold
To shut,
ADCC
to
medal.
shut
so.
Craig Jones down is
Yeah,
well, he's got
not
two.
saying that.
Well,
He's won ADCC
I'm just
both
saying
years
he
in a row.
got
I
one
think.
that year for sure. So
I think he won it the 2 years before that too. He won a different weight class division.
He won his weight class division, but then he lost an absolute because he lost an absolute to Lachlan Giles, and that was the huge.
Yes.
That was the upset of upsets. Because
And I
So he's a 2-time ADCC gold medalist, and you know the sad part about it is because he is so boring, and how he competes, he doesn't get put on the radar like Craig Jones or
he also got popped. And that,
right.
That's
so that's
the-
again kind of back to your following.
That's probably the big one. I mean, because it's one of those things like with baseball players even or whatever, they get popped, they just get discredited so much, like in people's minds or whatever.
Yeah, no one wants to put you on an event. No one wants to.
Yeah, it's
the
just
court of public opinion or popular opinion or whatever definitely
Oh, yeah, for
supersedes all of it.
Oh, absolutely. But anyway, so what I was going to with that was Marigali and Kanan. They do not like. They actually have a rivalry, and they wanted him to fight at the new Who's Number One. Well, instead, Marigali agreed to fight Craig Jones, which we were all excited about that.
Yeah.
That was the one, the Gordon and Felipe one. We're kind of all like,
yeah,
When is
Yeah.
that?
February. So
They're
we're
gonna fight Craig and Marigali.
So that's the news. The news is that Craig is now in camp with Volkanovski.
I've seen that.
So he is now declining the fight because he'd have to fly back from Australia to the United States, and that trip. Remember Isaac was talking about that on Who's Number One, how awful of a flight that is for your body.
Yeah.
it's a huge.
So
yeah.
I guess that he said he declined, so they're going to do it later in the year. But
I could see Craig making that decision. I mean, he probably gets paid pretty good to go in there and help Volk with all of his training and stuff, and
Yeah.
his,
I mean,
his
and
countrymen as well.
Oh man, he's going to need him.
He's gonna
I mean, for that
fight Makachev.
Yeah, he's gonna need him.
Yeah, he needs all the grappling advice he can get for sure.
And he's
Is
kind
it
of
a
said
replacement or just fights off?
That is Kynan's replacing, right?
no.
Oh.
So then
Marigali
Kanan
was first going to fight Kanan, then Craig Jones, and then
Kanan was the first offer. Marigali just declined,
Oh, gotcha.
and he took the Craig fight. And so now they've agreed officially to have a 1-1 this year.
Okay.
So they're gonna
One
have
gi,
a
one
they're
no
gonna
gi.
have a gi and a no gi.
Kanan
Yeah.
and
Because they are
Marigali.
right now they are either 1-1 or 2-2. I don't remember which one, but I think it's 2-2.
Both of them are more known for their gi game than their no gi, right?
Yes.
And
Kanan
I
as
think
well. Yeah.
that was the decision because I think I'm pretty sure Kanan wanted it gi. And Marigali said, no, we're going to do it 1-1 to
Okay.
settle it. Which, even though that makes no sense because then you can go 1-1 and then
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
settled. But, anyways, so what are we thinking about that?
I mean, I like that fight.
Yeah.
I like
I like the fight, but it just depends. I mean, is it going to be an exciting fight? It depends on who's winning.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Nogi, excuse me. I think Nogi, I'm definitely really looking forward to. After watching Kanan in that last IBJJF thing, I was like, I want no part of this. Like the cyborg one and him, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. That I've just jettisoned from it. But the last news, because again, guys, sorry, we don't have a ton to talk about. There's not a lot going on. Is Helena Craver? I can't say her name ever.
That sounds right.
Switching to New Wave. Now, we are not going to talk about a 16.
Where was she before?
It's a funny question. I think she was out of an Alliance school in Las Vegas.
Is that Keenan Alliance?
No,
No, it's Keenan is
he's
Legion.
Legion now.
Legion,
but
yeah.
He was Atos and
But she had
Before.
she's very well known like in my daughter's circle. You know what I mean, like that younger kid circle, and they were making an article on it, and her head coach like posted underneath, and it was like she already had a good coach. So, I mean, it sounds like there's some
bad blood.
hurt feelings there or whatever. But I actually want to attack it from another way. we have not seen any women, high-level women, at either one of those schools, New Wave or B team. The question is what are they going to do with women?
Well, I think if they continue, they'll take over just like they've taken over everything else. Because look at all the athletes like Bodini and everyone else.
Yeah.
They clearly have the right formula. Like it's kind of like back to the wrestling thing that we talked about in a previous episode. Like they are the new wave. They are. I mean, that head coach that's kind of butthurt that their student left. Is he stuck in his way and kind of doing the same shit that he is always doing and needs to change some shit? Possibly. I mean, it just is what it is.
Because I don't feel qualified enough to talk about this. Me and Ronnie actually watched her live compete at ADCC. She competed against a girl's sister that Sun Yun actually destroyed in Florida. That was the Jits King matchup. So it was her sister who's pretty good. And me and Ronnie watched, and
We weren't that impressed.
yeah, we didn't really think nothing special.
I feel like the problem with her was she was one-dimensional, and now that we're talking about moving around and stuff, like her stand-up was non-existent.
And to be fair, that other girl is a wrestler.
Yeah. But she didn't. I don't know. She pulled guard immediately, which is fine. But she could not she struggled, and everyone said that this shouldn't have been a struggle, and she struggled. And I feel like, I feel like all the matches she's had up, because she's not a tournament competitor. She is a super fight competitor.
Yep.
And we all know, like, if you're a super fight competitor, it doesn't necessarily make you the best. That means that you are very good at prepping for one person. But if you are a good tournament competitor, I will take that person because they are ready to go for whatever. They're good at
Someone
getting
that
to
go
their
4 or
game.
5 matches
Right.
deep in
Multiple
hell
matches.
and not be able to really plan for what they can plan for because you don't know who you're going to fight is, to me, always the extreme
Once you get to a
test.
certain point of exhaustion, there's like not much of a game plan left anyway.
Right.
You're kind of just going.
And then it goes
100%.
back to your muscle memory, which is
Right.
what we train a lot for. But with her, though, and that point, she actually went on and got to the quarters or the semis in the open
Yeah.
with women.
Yeah.
So that's super uneven,
Yeah.
but also tells us that these super kids that are coming up are could probably be more skilled than even some of the women in the
I
women
agree.
division.
I think they're 100% going to be more skilled.
Well, I mean, and so eat shit, that one lady who talked about her, whatever that
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
But
They'll
I'm
eat
just
their words
saying, like,
eventually.
but do we really, like, let's be honest here. The big women that are in the sport right now, they come from the major schools.
Yeah.
What was it? Zenith was
Atos.
Campo. Alliance. They have a lot of good women. They Atos, right? But places like that, even Gracie Baja, that's Kindle and people like that. If those teams start going to that B team and them, and they start investing in women, they start taking over then, right? Especially in the no-gi.
So.
Yeah.
But then I was sitting here thinking, well, what about Gordon Ryan's woman? But maybe her jiu-jitsu's not. Maybe her focus
She's
isn't
like a
jiu-jitsu.
model bodybuilder or something.
I
right?
know, but she does jiu-jitsu and she is
She's
a
purple
purple belt.
belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she does compete.
That doesn't mean she's going to be a world
She
champion.
lost
What
to-
I'm saying is, my whole point was the question was, Michael said, if these women start coming, right, are they going to start taking over? And then I started sitting here thinking, well, they do have a couple women, and they're not world beaters.
Right.
Not yet. So, I mean...
I think a lot of it, too, it's like it doesn't matter how good your coach is if you don't have any training partners either. Like, you have to have the good people your size, the same bodies to train with, I feel like, too, right?
That is a great point, and something I heard, and I know somebody will come on here and they'll tell me I'm wrong, but I was talking to a parent from a large school. Like, we're talking about, I'll just name a bunch of them so that nobody can say which one I'm saying. Atos.
That one.
Just kidding. I don't know. Your favorite. Shit.
B-team?
No, the one
Legion?
Mendez.
Oh, Mendez, yeah.
Art of Jiu-Jitsu.
Art of Jiu-Jitsu. Alliance. There was a parent talking to me, and they were asking me about Sun Yu's training, and I said, well, she just trains with the adults.
Oh, I know the answer.
And they said, well, women are not allowed to train with the pro men at their school.
Yeah.
Right.
So my question is like, I think B Team and New Wave is gonna make, they're gonna train with the men and stuff like that.
Is that for their safety, though? Is that why they do it? Because these men are going hard and they don't want the women to get hurt? Or is it because
Maybe
they're just,
that could be the thought process, whether the thought
Or
process
is it for like
correct or
safety protocols that they don't want to deal with drama? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's all in the waiver, isn't it? I mean,
Well, I'm just saying, like, they
I think
don't
he's
want to
talking
have
about other
anything.
safety.
He's
Yeah.
talking about off the mat.
They don't want to say
drama.
my daughter was rolling with a
Right.
36-year-old man and
Right.
he was
That's
smashing
true,
the shit
and
out
I
of
could
her.
see
I don't
that.
know.
I could see
they-
that.
So, I don't. The answer to that question is I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because this team, which I'm not going to say who I was talking to the parent, they have a lot of women. They have a lot of very good men, but they said it is completely segregated. So even the girls can't train with the male instructors, and they said they have very limited.
I feel like I understand that because when I watch the content, I definitely see males training together only.
Yeah, and I will never take Sun to a place like that.
Yeah.
I feel like it should just be like, if there is a hierarchy, it's like on this end of the mat, it's the guys who are the professionals. The people are the men and the women who are the professionals, and down here are the more casual people. And if you want to come over here, you're going to have to go pretty hard with these guys
Yeah.
who are professionals.
Yeah,
I don't think Sun Yoon would be the person she was if she had to depend on just the
Other
kids
children to
in
train
our
with? Absolutely.
academy.
That's kind of what I meant about the training part.
But they're
It's like-
different. They are the top of the top at the moment, so maybe they can make that work. I don't know.
But
I don't know.
you say it all the time. You'll beat any world champion woman.
Right.
Okay.
Got quiet.
So what I'm saying is like then the question you have to ask yourself as a parent, and I guess I'm the most qualified to talk about it with your daughter training, trying to get better and stuff. Do I want to be at a place where men don't want to train with women and don't want to give my daughter the knowledge that's necessary?
I'm agreeing with you. Like I agree that I think if you want to be the best in the world, I mean, it's like I used to say when I started, if I can beat big people, my division's easy.
Yeah.
Like everyone when I first started, I didn't have people like Brandon really.
Yeah.
Like everyone was 170 to 200 when we started. So when I would do my division,
Still is.
well, there's some guys now our size that we can
You
train
and me,
with.
that's it.
Well, that's a big wrestling thing too. We have a kid who is a very good 170er, and we were talking about Mowequa, and Rev was like, "Oh yeah, Austin's out there. Austin would be a good role for you." He's like, "Well, how much does he weigh?"
Like 270.
And he's like 270, and the kid's like, "Oh, that's too big for me." And then Rev stole one of my lines. Well, I guess that means nobody's ever gonna know your name if you
Yeah.
don't want to roll with somebody like that.
Yeah.
like to get better and
It's a
whatnot.
line from Troy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I always use that
That's
one.
the best line
But,
from Troy. Well, not
so,
the best.
uh,
There's a lot of good ones from Troy.
I just wanted to bring that up to you guys because I don't want to talk about a 16-year-old girl. I want to talk about the concept of now this girl who's very well known, was on a great path, is now choosing, hey, I'm gonna go to here and I'm gonna try to take over. And
Yeah.
from my selfish perspective, I'm like, well, shit, that's Sun Yu's gonna deal with that soon.
And honestly, there's a lot of momentum to be had, I think, for her to go to a team like that and to try to become the number one woman. Because I think if she does, there's a lot of momentum behind that team already, and to propel her up, I think that would really. I think if she can do it, being in that team will be the best place for her.
Chad does have a point. She does have Sony, which is Gordon's girlfriend. She is there. So, I mean, she's not bad. I've watched her compete live actually a couple times, and she fought Mona Bailey, who, went to your King of the Mat.
Yeah.
She lost to Mona, but Mona's pretty good, too. So, I mean, there's nothing to, be upset about with that, but I do definitely think that's 100% interesting.
Yeah.
Has Gordon's brother ever won Worlds or anything? Any notable big wins, Nikki?
Look at that.
I mean, I think he's done some decent things, but I don't think he's done. It's kind of goes back to the same thing of Gordon's girlfriend. I think she's done some good things, but she's never escalated it to that.
Mhm.
We got to talk about this.
He even posts stuff. He always says she's not the greatest competitor, but she's
Right.
very knowledgeable. So I mean, some people are
And
like
that's-
that.
Yeah, there's a person in this
And maybe it's just not her thing.
Right,
Right.
because I'm a horrible competitor. I'm absolutely awful at that, but I know my shit.
All of his accomplishments are ADCC. So he won the West
Talking
Coast.
Nikki?
Yes, he won the ADCC West Coast Trials 2019, third at the West Coast Trials in 2017, and third at the 2016 one.
I gotta be honest, I'd really like to see him win. I'm kind of a fan of Nikki Ryan, so
I just think that he he can't get his shit together for some reason. And I don't mean
Yeah.
that like in a bad way. I just
He's
feel like
on B team. They don't train. They don't do
Well, I
anything.
just
They
feel like
smash
something
watermelons
always
and
happens.
shit.
It's always
him
getting
every
hurt and shit,
time.
I feel like.
Yeah, he does
He needs
seem
to squeeze
always
more
be-
watermelons.
Yeah.
Maybe I should
It's
start.
not fair.
You think you could squeeze a watermelon?
And break it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not.
With one arm.
No.
Like, just put it right
I've
here.
seen Ben
You have to,
Askren take two, yeah, and do it like this. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
No, I still don't think so. Maybe a cantaloupe.
Do you think, getting back on topic,
Apple?
do you
I
think
could break an
that
apple in
if
half, yeah.
so like you were talking about like going with bigger people, like going with bigger people will make ever have a small person's game because I'm always been a bigger person. I'm not a speed passer, I'm a pressure passer. So if she's only going against these guys that have a certain game, is that going to throw her off when she competes against someone that has an entirely different?
Well, I think it works for the smaller to bigger guy. I don't think it works for the bigger to smaller guy.
Okay.
As well. I mean, I think there's always going to be a benefit, and I think, of
But
course,
if-
body to body and.
I can
et cetera.
definitely tell from my firsthand experience, like, because I usually train, I'm like 145. Most people I'm going with are like 160, 170, I'd say at least. And then whenever I drop down and I go to tournaments and I'm going against guys that are 130, whatever, 6 or 141, like, I feel really strong against those guys. And I never feel like that in the gym. But those guys, when I go against them in tournament, I'm like, yeah, I can fucking flip this guy over.
Do
with
you
this
ever
Kimura.
feel like when you're going against a bigger guy, like the speed's not there, so you don't have to adjust for the speed, and then when you go with someone smaller, that oh shit, this guy's a lot faster.
Honestly,
than I
it's
expected.
always the weight and the strength that I feel the difference. It's not necessarily the speed or anything. I don't feel like I ever see a difference in that. But
Really?
like when I go against guys
That's
like Chris,
surprising.
it's like he's just so strong and so much
Mhm.
bigger than me. I just can't do
Fast.
anything against him.
But he's
you
pretty
know?
close. Well, I guess he's
He's like
195.
180 or 90.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's
true.
like
He doesn't-
5 divisions
he's a
above
He
big
me.
used to do
shithouse.
154.
Yeah, well,
he's dense.
so-
He's got a
I
lot
used to
of
weigh
muscle.
80 pounds, so
You know,
I was like, are we talking about the same Chris? 'Cause
Chris
that's
Wright.
Chris won.
Yeah.
he's a badass
The
dude,
154 or 167.
Worlds, right?
Yeah,
Who's
And now he's 195.
Chris Wright or Chris Carpenter. It doesn't matter.
yeah, they're both. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Chris is a little lighter now, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Carpenter.
I definitely think I agree with what you're saying.
do you
Yeah.
feel
It's-
that when you go
There's
to
a little bit
tournament?
of a speed thing that you gotta take into calculation, but I don't think it's big enough that it factors the difference between your strength and framing.
Right.
Because when you fight bigger guys, you get framing. I feel like your framing has to become superior.
Mhm.
That's gonna stop the size and the speed anyways, because it's gonna be the same concept.
And you haven't done light feather in a while, but when you do you feel like you're always really strong? Like you
I
can...
did till I fought that UFC fighter this last year.
That
Yeah.
wasn't light feather, though, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sun Yoon always gives me the thing of that she knows that with the men, like some of the things that you guys show her that like it involves more like muscling over or something like that, she always thinks, well, this is completely useless because I'm not going to be able to do that with anyone I'm training with because everyone she trains with has like 30 pounds on her at least.
Minimum.
But when
Yeah.
it matters in the tournament,
That's that's what I was saying. She said that when she goes to a tournament, she's with those girls that are the same size as her, and she says she sometimes just forgets, oh, I can just muscle them over.
Right.
Yeah.
And she
Like-
said that does mess her up.
I do feel like I
sometimes.
messed my weight cut up this last year for that pans, and I struggled at 136. Like even the first match, it was like I had nothing. So I think this year my weight's at 141 right now. I had to go from 158 down to 136 last year for pans, and I didn't do it, of course, right. So like I felt like when I competed, it was like I didn't have anything, but I feel like this year I'll be on weight and I'll have what I need to have. as
I know
far
in
as-
tournament, like if I get that Kimura trap locked up, I almost always get the sweep.
Yeah.
But like in practice, against Andy or somebody that's
Mhm.
170, 180, it's not guaranteed. Like maybe 30% of the time.
He's
but-
stronger. He outstrengths the shit out of me.
Yeah. But when I go to the tournament, I feel that difference. So.
Well, that answers my question.
There's not a lot of jiu-jitsu on, so
Is
that's
this
it.
the show's over?
Cool.
That's it.
Well, I mean, we
We're
had
done?
48 minutes.
Yeah,
not
that's a
too
pretty
bad.
long
Let the
run.
cat piss on your face.
That's exactly what it is. Goodbye, everyone.